Estrogen Network presents Afternoon Yak.
Man.
Canceled.
So a few months ago, Bill Maher went on The View and they had a discussion about the wokeification of America. So you don't have to say something about that. Let's take a look and see what these creatures in The View and Bill Maher have to say about being woke in the United States. Now, I tried uploading this video yesterday, but YouTube wouldn't let me because it violated copyright, even though all I'm doing is a reaction video, and that's allowed under copyright law. So I had to go through and freeze the camera a lot, and hopefully this one will upload without any issue.
Different question, but it struck me that in the first segment you used the term woke, and you said that woke is what was sort of ruining everything. And I know that you're
No, I didn't say ruining everything. I said that's why Trump could get reelected.
That's why Trump could get reelected.
Yeah.
So
Well, he should have said that it's ruining everything, because it is. The feminist movement, the original woke movement, is ruining this country. I can talk about that at length. I've talked about that in how many different videos.
the term woke has been, in my view, co-opted by the right and weaponized and bastardized. And so I was surprised to hear you use the term, because historically, as you know, because I think you're quite brilliant, that woke is a word used by the black community to note that we must be aware of social injustices.
But words
and so
migrate.
why is that a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing, and originally that was absolutely a great thing. Alert to injustice. Who's not for that? But words do.
Yeah, so I was going to say words do migrate, words do change. And this is the truth. What she said was originally the word woke meant to be awake to social injustice, to be aware that, hey, look, even though we've gotten rid of Jim Crow, even though we've gotten rid of slavery, there's still some oppression, there's still some discrimination going on, and it's going on in a way that it should be illegal, and is illegal in some cases. We all know that. But it's gone too far. And it hasn't been weaponized and bastardized by the right. It's just literally gone too far. Stupid Sonny Hostin, you idiot, you hypocritical, lying piece of garbage, who thinks that you were never a slave owner. Your ancestors were never slave owners, but they were. The fact of the matter is now woke means get whitey, get men. We need to oppress men. We need to oppress white people. We need to oppress the straights. We need to oppress Christians. We need to oppress everything that this country has traditionally been about in order for the people who this country has not traditionally been about to benefit in some way. I have somebody who leaves comments, he used to leave comments all the time, in my comment section. In your own words, define woke. I refuse to play along. I define it in my videos. I do it all the time. And there's a freaking definition of the word woke. I don't need to define it myself. There is a definition that exists out there in the world that we use for the word woke.
Do migrate. Now, I'll use any term you want.
Okay.
Because maybe that is a word that's triggering, and so let's not use that word. I don't know, want to call it the super far left? But don't tell me the left
Or maybe the super far right.
He's talking about the left. Well, then
okay, but we talked about that. I mean, I think we agree about the danger of the super far right, and I can't say it enough. I think they're the bigger threat. But
they 100% are not. The super far right is a big threat, but they're not the bigger threat. Maybe if they had traction, maybe if there was an enormous group of people who are engaging in extreme far right behavior, then they would be the bigger threat. But that's not happening. We all look at the KKK and go, yeah, they're stupid.
don't tell me that the left hasn't changed. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when it was the conservatives who hated the Jews.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I don't remember that. I think that what I remember is, yeah, the conservatives were kind of like, yeah, we probably should not be giving into the Jewish point of view a little bit, but it wasn't like the conservatives were protesting against Israel or Judaism, which we see the left doing now.
That was a joke. But,
Too dark.
Well, maybe it is, but it's true. I mean, if I had any doubt that I was right about the change that's happened in the left, watching people protest for a terrorist organization like Hamas, that straightened me up pretty quick.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about that because I think you're almost a free speech absolutist. You believe totally in the right to say what you believe. I think a lot of us were disturbed to see terrorist flags being waved on American college campuses and seeing this a generation that some I think genuinely care about the plight of the Palestinians. I think most Americans do, but some who seem to be embracing a terrorist organization over the nation of Israel. What do you make of this moment? What do you think it's a result of? How do we fix it?
Well, I mean, it's just astounding to me that they can't tell the good guys from the bad guys. I mean, just morally. I mean, let me tell you, if you're for Hamas, just live in Gaza for a day. And I'm not talking about while the war is on. I mean, before the war. Trust me, you would go running and screaming and begging to live in Tel Aviv, a place that has your values. I mean, women have no, I mean, this is a show watched by a lot of women. Women have no rights in this place, and a lot of majority Muslim countries around the world. I mean, there's no equal rights as far as speech, dress, opportunities for education, reproductive rights, freedom from sexual violence, freedom from sexual harassment.
The LGBTQ community as well.
Yes. That too. But you throw around the term apartheid. There is a gender apartheid in a lot of the world where women.
It's gender and sexuality. Like the one lady just mentioned, it's LGBTQ problem too. Yeah, this is an issue. I'm all for like women and men having roles in society, and I'm all for women covering up a hell of a lot more than they do in the United States. Holy crap! I don't consume alcohol either. You could say, "Oh, you're Muslim." You're Muslim. You know, no, I'm not. And you know, it's funny. I used to work with this Muslim woman. She sat right next to me, and she goes, "Oh, I wish I could drink wine." I'm like, "No, you don't. You wish you could eat bacon." Believe me, out of all the things you wish you could do that you can't do, eating bacon should be top of your list. No, I don't care about that. That's the wine is so elegant and blah. No, you're stupid. Trust me, bacon is way better than wine.
Women are second-class citizens at best.
Are you at all concerned about the innocent civilians that have been collectively punished and murdered, largely children and women? And are you at all concerned?
I find it hard to believe that there's all that many innocents in there. I don't want to get into that whole thing, but they're raising these people. They're bringing these people up. They're living in this ideology that says get the Jews. The whole culture is like that. And maybe there's some that are like, hey, look, I don't agree with that in my heart or whatever. I don't agree. And maybe there's people who are open about it too. I don't know. I don't live there. I don't know what they're allowed to say and not say. And of course, the children are being raised to believe this stuff. They don't necessarily believe that, but I mean that's the reality on the ground.
Concerned about the fact that the International Criminal Court just today issued a subpoena for Bibi Netanyahu?
Well, that's ridiculous, but it's a war.
Why?
It's a war because it's a war, and they were attacked, and they're defending themselves. Now, this is a war. Do you think Hamas needs to be destroyed? This is the question.
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
So how would we do that with a ceasefire?
All right. So Hamas needs to be destroyed because they are a terrorist organization who say openly that they want to commit genocide on the Jewish people, on the state of Israel. That's what from the river to the sea means. Okay? And they say it very openly. They said we did this attack. They've attacked Israel 5 times. They've started 5 wars since they were given that land back. They could have chosen to turn that place into any place they wanted to, and they took a lot of money that they took from the international community and they spent it on bombs and guns and building tunnels. So if they need to be destroyed, how do we do that? It's a war. I don't know how to do that, and you don't know how to do that. I assume the Israeli. Of course, everybody is, but that's what happens in a war. Here's a way to stop.
I didn't catch what she said there. Let me see if I can figure it out. We'll go see.
You don't know how to do that. I assume the Israeli. Of course, everybody is, but that's what happens in a war. Here's a way to stop that. Stop attacking Israel.
Yeah, I don't know what she said. I couldn't figure it out. But the thing is she's of course, oh, don't hurt the poor innocent Palestinians or Hamas people or whatever. Look, I understand that that's terrible that we go out and people have to have their lives ended, especially people who are not combatants. But I've talked to people who've gone there, who've seen that, and they're like, yeah, Hamas is bad. So.
Calling for the annihilation of Israel and all the Jews. They're calling for the annihilation of the Jews. And so you can't really defend that on the other side.
So, of course, Joy Behar is going to chime in because she's Jewish. I mean, I assume that she is. I don't know. But she looks Jewish. And I think Behar sounds kind of Jewish. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but she looks pretty Jewish to me. I don't know.
Very easily.
But before we go, I want to say...
No, we're not going anywhere yet.
Okay, but I just want to say one thing, because we were talking in the break.
Yeah.
Joy is a wonderful human being, and she should not be afraid that people are going to attack her because she said that thing about the swastika on the cap.
Well,
she does not think that all, as you said to me in the break, you do not think that all the people who are for Trump are Nazis.
No, I don't.
You
I
don't.
I just want them to pay attention to words like vermin and poisoning the blood and the Third Reich. That's all. That's really what I'm asking.
They see.
Who is saying what Trump supporters are calling people vermin? What Trump supporters are touting the Third Reich as a good thing? I'm all for, building an empire if you do it peacefully. Build a freaking empire. Make it great. Make it wonderful. Make all the people that live in that empire happy and wealthy. Please. But don't do it by getting rid of an entire group of peaceful people. Now, I don't know the history of what was going on in Germany. But I do know some people who are from the Czech Republic. And they're like, the Jews would build enclaves in the business centers. And they would basically control finances and stuff in the country. It was a huge burden. It was a huge problem. So you can understand why there would be a backlash. Now, I'm not saying that should be a exterminate them sort of backlash, but you can understand why that would happen.
Trump as a comedian. They see him as a clown who says crazy
They
things.
saw Hitler like that.
Right? Okay, but that doesn't mean, you know, you can hate Trump. You can't hate everybody who likes him. It is half the
I have
country.
some in my family. I don't think they're Nazis.
Okay, great. I'm glad we got that. I don't want you hurt in the supermarket.
I have a question for you, because I don't know if you've noticed what I've noticed, but I find that oftentimes when I'm watching the news, I'm only getting portions, because one of the things that happens, I was listening to you talk about, the kids that had the Hamas flags. It reminded me of when people were saying Antifa is there, and doing it. So bad players show up and make stuff happen. But do you find that the view that we're being shown seems to be meant to guide us into thinking about people one way, when in fact it may be a much bigger conversation?
Oh,
100%. I don't know what Bill's going to say. 100%. You realize this, Whoopi, that you're one of the sheep who buys this stuff. You're the one who's not questioning the quality of the information that you're receiving. Everyone goes, oh yeah, Trump is bad, Trump is evil. Men, they had that segment that went viral where they were saying that men are worthless. Women don't need men. Oh, but all men definitely need women. That was so disgusting.
of course. I mean, the media is always going to just chase what is interesting to watch. I mean, I used to be able to watch the nightly news, for example. I can't do it. I mean, first of all, it should be called, here's some video we found that's fun to watch. That's not the news.
Yeah.
You know, like anything that happens on a plane. Like the plane skidded off the runway, so what? Call me when anybody died, and it's not, the door fell off. Okay, I'm sorry.
I understand the door falling off, but you don't want to be up in the air.
No.
Okay, I'm sorry. That one I needed to know.
Okay.
Okay.
But you know what I'm saying?
Well, that one was actually a bigger comment on cultural issues that are going on, where we're hiring based on superficial qualities instead of merit.
Yeah, I do.
And then by the time you get to the last segment, it's just, you know, the bears in the swimming pool.
Yeah.
You know, it's just nothing.
Yeah.
And it's narrative over truth. You know.
And there's a lot of crappy news reports, and there's a lot of slow news days out there. I mean, I remember one time I was watching the news, my roommate was actually watching it, and I happened to be kind of hanging out, and they were talking about yoga classes. I'm not joking. I'm like, everybody who does yoga knows this already. I was doing yoga at that time. I was like, everybody who's interested in yoga already knows this. It was just really fluff, stupid stuff that didn't even matter.
Yes. I mean, it's not like when I hear people talk on either side of it, I always think they're lying. They're just telling me half of it.
Yep. Yeah.
And I never trust them anywhere until I check out the other half.
Yeah.
And that's just, it's tedious.
Yeah.
You know, I just want one place, and of course it's my book and my show, where you can get both.
You were actually, you're leading
Yeah, but Bill, you're actually pretty biased from what I can see. So.
me right into what I was going to talk about, because we are talking about your
Sorry. Here too.
We're talking about your new book, which
Yes.
is that 20 years of your editorials re-edited and reimagined
Right.
in time for Father's Day. What do you want people to take away from reading it?
Well, I think I think we're tribal now, which is not good. And I think there's 4 tribes, basically. There's old school liberals, which I would mostly count myself as, old school conservatives. There's still some of those
You've
left.
changed, though.
Wait, what are the other two? Go ahead.
Well,
What are the other two?
well, that's what I was trying to find out in this book. I don't think I have. And you know, we were saying in the break, we have to come up with a new word for woke. Let's have a contest, because this is a word that's triggering. But I mean, those concepts that are different.
Good, I'm glad it is. I'm going to keep using it then. There are a lot of woke people, there are a lot of woke ideas in this country, and they need to be stopped, period.
Different than they were 5 years ago. I mean, we used to do, well, you did it. I was a guest on what was the homeless show? Comic Relief.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
You were, great show.
Yeah.
And homeless was a term that I thought we kind of came up with, because people were calling them bums and
Yes.
vagrants and hobos.
Yeah, now that's
homeless.
the word.
No.
It's unhoused.
Well, it's people
Unhoused.
experiencing
Unhoused.
homelessness. But
Yeah, and we got to keep migrating words. It used to be fat, and now it's obese, and that's even considered offensive now. Overweight, that was the one that came in there too, and that's offensive. Pointing out weight at all is considered offensive. It's like, hey, it's not my fault that you eat too much. I can't control that for you. I don't have that problem. I was talking to a lady that I used to train. I just ran into her at this gym that I've been going to, and she's still the same that she was when I was training her 15 years ago. It wasn't quite 15 years ago, like 12 years ago. Only she's 12 years older, and she's just going on, I eat too much. And I'm like, yeah, you do. She's like, well, what do you do about that? Don't eat so much. I don't know what to tell you. Don't eat.
But they're experiencing it on the street.
Yeah.
Okay, the liberal view of that was, for compassion's sake, we're the liberals, we're compassionate. Let's get these people off the street. Yeah. That's not the view of the, whatever word we're going to come up with for this. Their view of the homeless is they're an endangered species that needs to be protected in their natural habitat, living their best.
That's actually pretty clever. I don't know if that's the view that they're having, but I do know that here in LA, or I'm not in LA, but close enough, it is a misappropriation of funds. This problem will never go away because we give money to the Homeless Coalition, whose job it is to end homeless. Well, when you give money to this organization, they pocket the money instead of solving the problem, because if they solve the problem, their paychecks go away.
Life under a bridge. You know, that to me is crazy. That's the kind of things. I haven't changed on that. I still think we should get these people off the street. That's the compassion sake. So I didn't change, they changed, and there's lots of examples of that.
And there's lots of examples of the media giving one side, as she says. It's the reason I think that we don't know about Biden's accomplishments, because it's too boring to say he fixed the infrastructure, he fixed the economy.
It's not sexy
no one wants to hear.
And they know
That's
that
the problem.
who's going to make chaos. They know it.
Right.
But
Did Biden fix the economy and the infrastructure? I don't think he did either of those things. I will give him one thing. The cost of my prescription did go down. I don't know what to tell you other than that. Food prices have gone up. Gasoline prices went way up. And they're going to go even higher in California. He fixed the infrastructure. That's state and local government. Unless you're talking about the interstate highway system. Whatever.
you know what? You know who's not making chaos? Right here. He's not making chaos. All thanks to Bill Maher.
Okay, Bill Maher is making chaos. Bill Maher is contributing to the problem. He might not be the worst of the actors. He might not even be very bad, but he is not on top of his game. He doesn't go out and search out the truth. I think he's treading water in his show at this point. I haven't watched it, but the things I hear him say, typically, the things that come out are just like stuff that he doesn't really know what he's talking about. Or it's his opinions that he's had for the last 30 years, 20 years, whatever. So anyway, thank you all for watching. I do appreciate everybody stopping by and supporting my work. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed. You can find me over on Rumble, Twitter, and I will see you in the next video.